Surely, after promising to negotiate a win, to have a deal by July the 21st, the Prime Minister's not flying all the way to Washington, D.C. just to have lunch. By the sounds of it, that's all they are going to accomplish, Mr. Speaker. You see, no, we're suggesting he actually keep his promise and negotiate a win. You know, the Liberals' excuses are tripping over each other. Last week, the Prime Minister said the American tariffs on Canada are so bad that that's why we have the fastest shrinking economy in the G7, the second highest unemployment, $52 billion of net investment that has fled, 86,000 jobs that have been lost. And now they're saying that we have the best possible position.
Liberal legislation has freed criminals in our streets and created chaos everywhere. In St. Jerome, a woman was killed by her spouse, a man who was arrested 30 times before and who violated his release conditions several times, and he was released by these Liberals. Today, we're voting on a Conservative motion to reverse these Liberal laws, put criminals back in prison, and restore security for all Canadians. Will the PM allow this to pass? Of justice.
Every Canadian deserves to be safe and to feel safe in their communities. Over the course of the recent federal election campaign, we made several commitments to help reform Canada's bail system and to advance stronger penalties for those who commit serious offences against their fellow Canadians. Mr. Speaker, we are willing to work across the aisle with other members to ensure we put forward reforms that are informed by evidence, not ones that are seemingly copied and pasted from American-style bail laws. Mr. Speaker, it's only going to be a matter of weeks before we advance new legislation to strengthen criminal justice reforms in this country. I hope all members from all parties support us.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday I met with the head of the Peel Regional Police Union, along with a group of crime victims. Among them was the Faruqi family. Alim Faruqi rose at night to protect his kids from a home invader who was shot in the throat. He's dead. His brother came out and said the Liberal government should be ashamed of itself for keeping in place Liberal bail that has allowed for 1,600 crimes every single day. We have a motion before the House to get rid of Liberal bail and restore safety to our streets. Will the Prime Minister let it pass?
Mr. Speaker, obviously, when such violent circumstances arise in communities across the country, it's incumbent upon members of Parliament on both sides of the aisle to condemn them unreservedly. I would remind my honourable colleague some of the laws that he points to in his many promises, including ones pertaining to self-defence, were in fact put into Canada's laws when the Conservatives left held power while Stephen Harper was Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition was in his cabinet. Mr. Speaker, moving forward, Conservatives, Liberals and others will see some of the strongest reforms being put in place when it comes to changing the bail system in this country and when it comes to adopting stiffer sentences for serious crimes.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister promised he would negotiate a big win in terms of the U.S. and get a deal before July 21st. Tomorrow, he'll be announcing the deal he will get with the U.S. President. The PMO has indicated to the media that there'll be full elimination of tariffs on aluminum and steel. Can he confirm as well that the big win he'll be announcing tomorrow will include the elimination of all tariffs on cars, softwood lumber, and all other Canadian products? Mr. Speaker, the Leader of the Opposition is right. Yesterday, at the invitation of the U.S. President, the Prime Minister will go to Washington to continue important discussions, obviously, on the issue of trade and how to protect jobs and industry in Canada and how to build a North American economy that will benefit both of our countries. We'll also be discussing other international issues. And, Mr. Speaker, I would be surprised if the Leader of the Opposition was not happy with this commitment from our U.S. partner.
The Prime Minister promised that he was going to negotiate a win with the President, that he'd have a deal by July 21st. Here we are in October, and tomorrow the Prime Minister is going to the White House to announce this deal. Surely he's not just going for a photo op and to make more excuses. And the Prime Minister's office is already telling the media that there will be the full elimination of tariffs on steel and aluminum. Will he also confirm that this deal that he's announcing tomorrow, this win, will include elimination of tariffs on autos, softwood lumber, Buy America, and all other protectionism against Canada?
Mr. Speaker, I remember the Leader of the Opposition and some of his colleagues criticizing for the government for not having enough direct face-to-face engagement with the President of the United States. So good news, Mr. Speaker. The President has invited the Prime Minister to a working meeting tomorrow in Washington, followed by a working lunch. Obviously, Mr. Speaker, the conversation will center on trade issues and what we want to do to protect Canadian industries and Canadian workers, at the same time building an economy in North America that's in the interest of both countries. And the discussion will also talk about a series of other international issues.
Surely, after promising to negotiate a win, to have a deal by July the 21st, the Prime Minister's not flying all the way to Washington, D.C. just to have lunch. By the sounds of it, that's all they are going to accomplish, Mr. Speaker. We've seen since he promised this win, American tariffs on Canada have doubled. The Prime Minister has caved on counter tariffs on the digital services tax and on everything else, and 86,000 Canadians have lost their jobs as a result of his weakness. Surely the Prime Minister will finally keep his promise and come home with a win. What will it be?
Mr. Speaker, Canada is currently in the best position of any major trading ally of the United States. But we've said consistently, Mr. Speaker, that we have work to do with our American partners on sectoral tariffs. We have work to do in building an economy in North America that's in the interest of Canadian businesses and Canadian workers. That's exactly the conversation that the Prime Minister will have with the President. And Mr. Speaker, was the Leader of the Opposition suggesting if the President of the United States invites you to go to Washington for a meeting and a working lunch, we should have just said no and hung the phone up?
No, we're suggesting he actually keep his promise and negotiate a win. The Liberals' excuses are tripping over each other. Last week, the Prime Minister said the American tariffs on Canada are so bad that that's why we have the fastest shrinking economy in the G7, the second highest unemployment, $52 billion of net investment that has fled, 86,000 jobs that have been lost. And now they're saying that we have the best possible position. Which is it? Why is our economy so bad? Because of failed Liberal diplomacy on trade or bad economic management at home?
Of industry.
We never talk down our workers, we never talk down our industries, and we never talk down our economy. Let me talk to you about good news, Mr. Speaker. 500 jobs new at Itachi in Varennes, Quebec. 150 jobs in Alstom, Saint-Bruno, Quebec. 400 new jobs in Kitimat, Cedar, LNG. 500 new jobs at Ferrero, Brantford, Ontario. Who doesn't like Nutella? 460 jobs at Stem Cell Technologies in Burnaby. We'll continue